How are you doing, Chris? Good to see
I'm
you.
great, man. Good to see you too.
Good. So how is you at home right now? Is that the home
I
studio
am.
that you're
I
doing?
am.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am in my little office here. It is a mess. It is chaos in here.
Yeah, I'll bet. I bet. So getting ready for the tour and stuff you got coming up this spring. What's the start of the year like for you? What
I've
have you been up
I've
to?
I've barely unpacked from the last tour. I've
Yeah.
still got suitcases under over here.
Yeah.
No, man. We are pumped for this year, man. We got some great tours that we are uh, so grateful to be a part of, man. Disturbed and Creed.
Yeah.
We couldn't be happier with where we are right now.
Yeah, we don't get you on this disturbed leg here in Milwaukee. We got your buddies in Seven Dust, which is cool. So
Yeah,
it's all good
yeah.
there.
Sorry about that.
But I'm sure we'll get you at some point. But Disturbed, man, I mean, what a cool tour to be part of. So I imagine
Absolutely.
that's is that a band you've always wanted to play with or go on the road with
Yes,
to this extent?
absolutely. I had a dream about it even, and I told David, I was like, man, I had a dream. We were on tour together, and we were even singing this song that I don't even know what the song was. I think we wrote it, and his reply was, "Well, both of those are possibilities, my friend."
Yeah,
And so I essentially manifested this this tour for us.
they'll go, Chris. I have a thought for you to come on stage on the tour. Hear me out,
Yes,
or something in that.
please, you
Yes,
come out.
they're
Yes,
very. He's a presence, man.
he is.
You know
He
that
is
for sure.
amazing. I love David so much, and what a phenomenal vocalist live. I mean, that
Yeah.
dude has so many chops, and I can't wait to. As a fan, I get to see this every night, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, we Mike Wengren, the Disturbed, lives in the area, so
Oh, cool.
he just pops in at the station. He's always got an open invite, so we tell him that anytime he wants to come by and
Love
hang out.
that.
So we've gotten to know him quite a while, so the last couple of years. So very cool. So yeah, a lot of big things obviously for you then, and then Shock to the System Part Two. Is that
Yes.
the second part of your EP? Is that something you plan on? Do you have a timetable for that, or where can we expect to hear some of that music?
I would love for it to be out this year. I just finished the vocals on it yesterday, so I would love nothing more than people to hear uh, something from it at least by the summer, if not have the whole thing out. But we'll see. I don't always get my way.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you want it to be
Yeah,
right. I
yeah.
mean, in listening to part one, which I did in advance of this conversation again, I mean, some heavy stuff. I mean, is it? I'd say lyrically and personally for you, pretty raw stuff in there, and then the music. I mean, it's just the harder rocking stuff. Is that a conscious decision? Is natural evolution a little bit of both? So, what can you
It was
speak to?
definitely it was definitely a bit of both. I've been trying to slowly get us into this heavier direction for a while, and
Mm.
very happy to finally be there. And yeah, it was a I think this was always the direction for me. Um, Made a few left turns, before I made the right ones,
Mm.
and but this was always, bands I was in as a teenager. It was always the heavier side of things. So um, I'm glad to finally be back in this format.
Do you feel like that's your full authentic self?
Yes, one
This type of music, 100%.
1,000%,
Yeah.
1,000%. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think people are responding to that because people realize that about
Dude,
you. They follow
we
your
have
career.
been we have been embraced with open arms, and I could not be happier, man. It's been awesome.
Because that the rock community sometimes that's not necessarily an easy thing to do for
It
a
can
lot of
be a little
artists.
it can be a
Yeah,
little gatekeepery, for
yeah.
sure, but we've experienced nothing but respect, and the fact that Disturbed is taking us out is like, it's that's some
Mhm.
serious validation.
And now, how about you got to tour with the guys in Creed later on this year too?
Yes, and Creed, yes.
That's cool, man. Because like I've always been in the camp of like Creed was always a great band, and I know they got their flack just because they were so massive, and that was it. But that band has always been solid, and and now they're back, I think, to where they always should have been, and playing arenas and playing these huge tours.
Dude, they're bigger than they've ever been. I saw them when they were what I thought was at their heyday, Human Clay
Yeah,
tour, and Seven Dust was opening, and and it was massive then, pyro, the massive crowd. And then we did some shows last year, and I'm like, this is bigger than you guys have ever been. Am I wrong? I was talking to Mark. I'm like, am I crazy? He goes, dude, we had no idea that it was going to do this. And it's amazing, man. I love seeing those guys win and get the respect they deserve. And I'm even more pumped to be a part of it, you know? Um, and that is really encouraging for rock music to
Yeah.
see that so many fans are coming out to see these shows. And uh, even when we were out with, you know, Breaking Benjamin and Stain last year, it was just like, oh my God, we're back. Rock is back.
Hmm.
And it feels good, man.
It's parents bringing their kids to these shows now too,
Yeah.
which is a very
Yeah.
cool thing. So
Absolutely.
going through all that. So now that you've got kind of some time in between, I know you're a big workout guy, and I follow you on
Yeah. Yeah.
Instagram, things like that. What's the Chris Daughtry regimen for staying in shape or just getting ready for another run of tour for this year? You doing?
I mean, I do a little bit daily.
Yeah.
You know, some days it's just 20 to 30 minutes a day. Some days it's a full, you know, hour and a half workout. But for the most part, it's just doing something daily and staying consistent with that and trying not to, you know, be ridiculous with my diet. That's like the biggest thing
Yeah.
is just eating super clean 80 to 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and
Gotta have
just
those
be,
cheat days in there though.
man, I do. I make sure of it.
What's a Daughtry cheat food for you when you go to when you're going to go? I'm going to slide today or for a meal or whatnot. What's your favorite?
So my most current one was last week when I took my kids to. I never go to the mall, but I took my twins to the mall and they're teenagers, and I ended up eating in the food court, which hasn't happened in like 15 years. But I had Sbarro pizza, and it was greasy and it was delicious.
Mm.
Usually it's like I'm a cheeseburger guy, man. Like I want the sloppiest, all the fixins. You know what I mean?
And last thing before I let you go, Chris, I saw your pictures about with your new blackout tattoos there on your sleeves. Looks cool, man, to
Thank you,
see it here
man.
on video.
Appreciate it.
How
Thank you.
what was the yeah, look at that. What was the impetus for that? Something you thought about for a while, or just walk through the decision to end up doing it?
Well, I kind of always wanted a fresh start with my tattoos because I never had this. I was always jealous of people who had a concept ahead of time and it all flowed and they had thought it out and they were self aware enough to know who they were before they did it and it was all relevant to who they were and what they and that version of themselves and I always kind of was a little bit jealous of that and wanted some sort of a fresh start. I was never happy having my name across my back, and I was always thinking eventually I'm gonna get all this covered up and have some sort of redo, but I don't know how that's gonna happen. And I never really thought about blackout until I was shooting the Damn video, and I had that war paint on, and I'm looking in the mirror going, dude, this might be the answer. Like I was thinking to
Yeah.
myself, like, and then as I leave the makeup trailer, three people, unbeknownst to each other, all like different times, dude, that'd be a cool tattoo. Man, that'd be a sick tattoo. Man, that shit would look sick if it was real, and I was like, well, that's three confirmations right there. And after 3 days of being in the desert, I don't know if it was the heat cooking my brain or what, but I couldn't unsee it. I was like, I feel like this is it. Like, this is what I need to do. And then I looked up some artists on the flight right before leaving LAX to fly home. Before I got home, I'd already had the sessions booked, and and I was like, now I got to tell my wife. I was like, babe, we got to talk. And she's like, oh shit, what did you do? I was like, didn't do anything, but it's about what I'm about to do. And so yeah, that was kind of the impetus of it. It was to me like a fresh, like a clean slate.
Well, you had the footage from the video, so you can go, babe, this is what it's going to look like. Isn't
It,
that
it's
cool?
gonna,
Four people
yeah.
said it was cool.
I had the
Look at
pictures. I was like, this is what I'm gonna do.
yeah, look at superhero look there. It's cool. So it looks great, man. So
Thank you, man. I appreciate
again, congratulations on all the success, man, and look forward to those tours. And I'm sure we'll get you in Milwaukee here at some point and check you out. So appreciate the
I
time.
appreciate
Chris.
it, Borna. Thank you so much, man.
Take care, man. See ya.
Have a great one. Later.
You too.